Hello and welcome once again to the Beat LA podcast. My name is Matt Ferrucci. I am a writer-director in Los Angeles, and I am joined, as always, by a man who just got back from a pig whistling contest in Arkansas, Mr. Paul Rule. Paul, how are you?
I'm gonna tip my hat to you, Matt. I look at our set design here. This is
amazing.
amazing.
It's a little fakakta. It's a little ADHD right now if you're watching on YouTube.
You got a lot of fucking bobbleheads. Pig whistling. Have you ever been to Arkansas? I don't know if that sounds like that might be a little...
I have two nieces, actually, that are students at the University of Arkansas. They're Razorbacks right now.
Razorback. Fayetteville. Yeah. They're number 2 in the country college baseball, by the way. I learned a lot of stuff while I was in Bentonville over the weekend.
So Paul was in Bentonville, Arkansas. You travel the world, Paul. You go all over, but this feels very unkendall to me. What was
not true. Not true, Matt. Not true.
Give it to me.
It was an opening art gala event at Crystal Bridges, which is one of the great contemporary art museums in this country. They actually have all sorts of American art too, owned by a Walton Scion, so Walmart. It is an art museum funded by Walmart billions. And it's an amazing place. Everyone should go check it out.
Is it Bentonville or Benton?
Benton, Benton. Bentonville,
because they have the big film festival that Gina Davis runs out there.
Oh,
yeah, she does.
I saw something for Arkansas.
Film festival, sort of by women, supported by women. It's a big thing there.
Bentonville's growing like weed, man. All that Walmart money. They got really nice facilities. It's like a Truman Show, basically. If rich people own a town, they can do anything they want to the town.
Yeah,
like they had beautiful facilities. We played tennis on these like gorgeous public tennis courts.
It looked like it's kind of like the Savannah of Arkansas. I was looking at your stories, Paul, and you're right. It was very shishi and it was very surprising and looked very elegant.
Yes.
And one wouldn't think Arkansas.
It was an all-white theme. It was kind of an ethereal thing.
Yeah.
Jewel, if anybody remembers Lilith Fair.
Yes.
From like 30 years ago.
Right.
Jewel has somehow turned into an artist, and I guess she was on an airplane with Kimball Musk. And who is Elon's brother. He owns a drone company. They came up with this idea for an art installation that is now at Crystal Bridges. And my good buddy Ryan Osmakowski was a producer on it. So we went out to support
Got it. I thought you were out in Arkansas scouting baseball players for the San Francisco Giants, kind of like Curious Case of Sid Finch, trying to find that diamond in the rough. Arkansas.
I should have been doing that.
But no, you were
Sid Finch. For our young listeners out there, you can Google it.
Yeah, Google it.
It was a April Fool's article in Sports Illustrated,
1985. It was anyway. But Paul, glad to have you back. Now I'm surprised.
I've been to 49 of 50 states. So if you think I'm only a flyover guy, Matt,
what's the one state you haven't been to?
It's a great question. North Dakota.
Yeah. Okay.
I got nothing against it. I just hasn't happened.
No, I get it. I thought I was going to say, you came in last night from the Met Gala with your beautiful wife doing some shishi thing on the red carpet. Did you watch a bit of the Met Gala?
No, but I did Google it. A lot of people apparently turned it down this year, I read. I'm starting to realize, I don't know, this was my only observation.
Yeah.
So Kim Kardashian's starting to look increasingly like Cher. They're both Armenian, so that might make sense. I don't know. We can post a photo here. I can't believe I just brought up Cher and Kim Kardashian.
I know. Our demographic we're hitting is, I will say, though, I think Cher still has her fastball.
Wow.
Okay? Yeah, Cher still has her fastball. Nick, right?
What was the theme? It was like the theme of the Met Gala was Sleeping
Beauty's reawakening fashion. Can I get some points from Kristen there right there? Yes.
Hey, look, it'd be great if fashion were reawakened. I have, and my things to watch, we'll wait on that, something I feel has been reawakened in the public consciousness that I'm very excited about.
I think the funniest thing I saw, Ben Simmons, the basketball player, was at the Met Gala.
That's not an A-lister. How did Ben Simmons get
everyone was saying this guy does everything except play basketball. Yeah. Speaking of basketball, there was a couple of things before we get into...
Odell Beckham, I saw, was there. It was a weird list.
It's a weird list. But also, I think it speaks to celebrity being weird in these days. It's like sort of everyone's a influencer or a personality. It's not like the good old days.
Everybody was at the Tom Brady roast, all the professional athletes. We'll get to that in a minute.
We'll get that too. So little house cleaning, Paul. Okay. Right now, if you're listening to us on Apple or Spotify, but you can also watch us on YouTube. That's right. Watch the show in its entirety on YouTube. If you're not a subscriber, what the fuck is wrong with you? You can subscribe on Instagram, on our TikTok, A lot of great reels on there. Follow us. It's a great bite-sized way to follow the show. And if you do subscribe and DM us your handles, we will give you one of these beautiful Beat LA mugs.
Finally have it, man.
All right.
Merch. We got a QR code.
Codes on the back. So listen, if you're watching on YouTube, this is what the mugs look like, and you will be getting one of those. Today's show, ladies and gentlemen, after Paul and I do our usual opener here, talking a little bit of Warriors Giants, we're going to be talking to actor, producer, entrepreneur extraordinaire, Reggie Watkins. He's a diehard 49er fan. You've seen him on some of your favorite shows like Bosch, This Is Us, Key and Peele, Grey's Anatomy. He loves football. He's a little polarizing with some of his takes on the 49ers, and that's why we have him on the show. So stick around for that. Paul, speaking of the Warriors, I don't know if you saw this week. Bob Fitzgerald and Kalena Azubuike, their announcing team on television, was voted the worst broadcasting duo in the NBA. And when I saw that, I applauded because, as you know, I'm not a big Fitzgerald fan, and I'm not in the minority on this. But you listen to War Games. Would you agree? Or?
I would agree. I'm looking forward to you digging in post here and finding the worst Bob Fitzgerald clip you can find.
Yeah, you even have some jerk-off fans trying to screw up a telecast. That's terrific right here in San Antonio.
He is a big homer. I don't think Kalena's bad. Fitz makes him worse.
Yeah, Fitz makes everybody worse.
Yeah. That's all I wanted to say about that. That's our Warriors talk right now. We're going to get into more Warriors later. NBA playoffs is happening right now. You know I'm a big NBA playoff guy.
But doesn't it make you feel good when the world agrees with you? Because you've been saying that for a long time.
Yeah, but it's true. It's true. But
maybe you made that happen. Didn't you post something that Tim Kawakami agreed? What was that story?
No, I've been known to tweet my dislike of Bob Fitzgerald, and Tim Kawakami of The Athletic has retweeted this a few times, which is fun. Good. But NBA playoffs right now, Knicks are looking good. The mecca of basketball is back. They had
it's crazy, isn't it? The Knicks haven't been good in a long time. NBA is very happy to the point where you see the calls, all the calls against the Pacers last night.
Oh my God!
Twitter or X went crazy, but of course the NBA wants the Knicks to win.
The Pacers gave that game away. They had it in the bag.
Some bad calls from the NBA office.
I will say that that courtside, though, Celebrity Row at the Knicks game is, I think, better than any Celebrity Row in all the sports.
It's pent up, man. Their team's been bad for a long time.
Timberwolves. Would you ever think that? Timberwolves might be the best team in the NBA.
Remember the Warriors were bad-mouthing Anthony Edwards? They said they wouldn't have taken him anyway before they took Wiseman. Look at him. He's turned into the second coming of...
He's Jordan's illegitimate kid. Yeah. They've done the research on this. It was one night in Houston, Jordan had an affair, and then Anthony Edwards, who's from that area, kind of the timelines match.
Interesting. I imagine Jordan's got a couple of them. I guess he's the best player.
Let's move quickly in here because we got a lot to cover here.
Yeah.
The San Francisco Giants. This is your bread and butter.
Oh, man.
They've just lost 6 of their last 7. They just got swept by the Phillies. Yeah. I will say this. Fuck this fucking team. I didn't care. I was positive. They are lifeless. I do not like them. Who is the leader of this team, Paul? Who is the face of this team? Who's calling the players-only meeting?
Who's breaking shit? Who's flipping over the fucking craft service table?
I mean, is this a Bob Melvin issue? Is this a hitting coach issue? They haven't scored more than 3 runs in the last 11 games.
That's all. We got one goddamn hit.
You can't say goddamn on the air.
Don't worry, nobody's listening anyway.
Your boy Pat Burrell is their hitting coach now. I think I told you, I met him at a preseason event. And Pat, very nice guy, not drinking anymore, not going to Momo's. He's having no fun.
Yeah.
That team seems very clenched to me.
Yeah.
Maybe Pat needs to crack open a brew.
Yeah.
I don't know. Matt Chapman is public enemy number 1 among me and my friends who tweet each other, if that's a thing. And but I'm telling you, I have some Bob Melvin concerns. The Padres let him go for a reason. Did you watch the game yesterday? Mason Black came in, pitched like the second coming of Talinscomb for 4 innings. The kid hadn't pitched more than 70 pitches in the minors all season. Melvin's like, we had to get a 5th inning out of him. I'm like, one inning makes that big a difference? You guys are that depleted that you had to run the kid out there. They were down 1 zip, then they were down 5 zip at the end of 5. He threw 85 pitches. He'd never thrown more than 70 pitches in his career. Like, what is that? Melvin, I understand we want pitchers going deeper. We don't want Kapler. We want the same lineup every day. But shake the fucking thing up. Matt Chapman has started every single game. He's played in every single game. Give the guy a day off. Anyway, that's my rant.
Yeah.
I think they're in trouble. If this Rockies series goes south, it's free fall time.
It's really incredible because they can't hit, yet they've got guys. This is a better hitting lineup than last year. But There's nothing interesting about this team right now. I am
I
out
tell you,
on
Blake
these
Snell,
guys.
I called it. It's after our last rant on Blake Snell, he goes on the IL, and that spot in the rotation now, they've been outscored by like 60 runs.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, and that's $30 million they gave that guy. Anyway, I think that was them chasing. My prediction, I think Farhan's out at the end of the year. That's my bold.
Do you believe the
prediction.
Giants can turn this around?
No.
No.
But I'm Captain Nag, so I'm just hoping that by saying they can't turn it around, that they will turn it
They're
around.
not going to turn it around. By the way, there's a Beat LA Hawaiian shirt giveaway.
Oh, it's very exciting.
Is that next week?
No, it's the 29th when we're supposed to go with our friend Alex.
How do we feel about this Beat LA Hawaiian shirt giveaway?
I think we should be getting some money from that merch, man. Like, what have we copyrighted this thing yet?
Yeah, no, not yet.
Not yet. No,
you got to
gotta
get
that.
the lawyers on it. You got to get the lawyers on it.
I don't think I would have done a Hawaiian shirt. That seems weird to me. They're playing the Dodgers. Why are they giving a Hawaiian shirt when you're playing the Dodgers? The Dodgers are more of a beachy vibe.
Well, it's the marketing team. They also are giving away that Mickey Mouse thing too.
That's funny though. But what do the Giants have to do with a Hawaiian shirt? Give a Hawaiian.
It's a John Miller thing, right? He does the Hawaiian shirts,
guess.
some stuff like that. Got any other Giants thing you want to hit?
No, I think they do not deserve us to talk about them more until they start getting their shit together.
I 100% agree.
Okay.
All right. We're going to take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be right back talking 49ers in Hollywood with Reggie Watkins. Okay, we're back. As I said before, we got a special guest, Paul. We got a good friend of ours in the pod. You may have seen him on TV shows like Bosch, This Is Us, The Rookie, Key and Peele. I'm going to get into that a little bit.
There we go.
Okay. He might be best known as Sergeant Sims on Call of Duty. It's weird how the industry is like that. But to us, he's just a diehard Niner fan. Reggie Watkins in the house. How you doing?
Oh, thank you. I'm good. I'm back from Vegas, so you can hear Vegas in my voice right now.
Yeah. So happy belated birthday.
Thank you, sir.
So you still do the Vegas, because I kind of retired from the Vegas thing. It kind of tapped me out. You still, how was it?
Oh, fantastic. Like, Vegas is probably my favorite city
Interesting.
in the world because everybody goes there with the intention of having the best time of their life.
Yeah.
And the energy is just everywhere. Like, people are there just to have fun. My whole life is all I want to do is have the most fun possible, enjoy my life. And every time I go to Vegas, I have the most fun. It also helps that I know a lot of people, so
Sure,
it doesn't
that
ever really
does.
cost me.
You need
much
some
either.
connections now at
Yeah,
our
yeah.
age if you're going to do Vegas, Paul.
Yeah.
In our pre-interview, I learned he missed his plane. So I don't know what happened there.
I partied. We were up hanging out all night. I fell asleep and woke up, and my plane was gone.
You know, the worst thing, though, is the good thing for you is that you woke up.
Yes.
And you realized you missed your plane. Usually in my past, we've talked about this on the pod, there's no wake up. It's just like the birds start to chirp, and you're like, holy shit, I gotta catch a flight.
Just stay up all night, man.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing? It's amateur hour. Just stay up all night.
I should have, but I was like, I got to get some sleep.
Yeah, okay.
I had set the alarms. You know, you set like 1,000,000 alarms
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I had like 5 of them, 5-minute intervals.
Right.
I heard none of them. Woke up at 10:30 and flight was gone. My wife was upset as she.
Well, I'm impressed that you haven't let Vegas go. I mean, and your wife still lets you go.
Yeah.
But
my wife loves fun too. So
Yeah.
she loves Vegas is her. We met in Vegas.
Yeah.
So it's like one of her favorite cities as well. Like she goes there and she will lose her mind and stay up and drink, dance and party, and she's has
Right.
the best time. She's great.
Yeah. Reggie, diehard Niner fan. You're from San Jose, right?
San Jose,
Which one high
Silicon
school?
Valley. I went to Gunderson High School.
Gunderson. I know
On the south
Gunderson.
side.
Last time I saw Reggie, Paul, it was the Eagles-Niners. That was might have been the height of our regular season.
Yeah.
When we had that sort of beat down
Yeah, the payback.
prison shower scene that we pulled on the Eagles.
That was the payback.
At that game, we had a few drinks.
Yes.
Remember how the first quarter went, and then from the second quarter on, it was just like shots.
Yeah.
Let's go. And I asked you, how do you feel about Brock Purdy? And you said, I like him, but what I need to see from him is for him to come back in a big game in the second half. Yeah. Now, he did that in the playoffs twice. You can even say that about the Super Bowl as well. We didn't, in the end. But are you now full Brock? Have you gone full Brock?
Okay. People like to call me, for some reason, I'm a Brock hater because I'm just honest about what I see when I watch the game.
Okay.
I think he's great. He's dope. I don't think we can win a Super Bowl with him. Just my honest opinion.
Wow,
about it.
all right. Wow. You're correct so far.
Okay. And I would love to be wrong.
Yeah.
But what I see and what I've seen through this NFL and the way it's gone, you have to be able to put the team on your back. Unless you have the 2000 Ravens defense, or you have, hell, even the Carolina Panthers 2015 defense, you've got to have a quarterback who can lead you through the fire. And I like him. But when you get to the Super Bowl, you're going to play against a team that has a quarterback that's a force multiplier. When we play against Patrick Mahomes, we've had it happen to us twice. They had Patrick Mahomes, and we didn't. You've got to be trying to find Patrick Mahomes every year if you don't have him. That's your job as an organization. And we tried. We went and got Trey Young, right? We were trying, not Trey Young, Trey Lance. We didn't even really give him a shot. Didn't even really give him a full shot to be the guy that could be the athletic quarterback, the guy who could make plays with his feet when things break down. We didn't even really give it a chance because Brock came in and played so well, and the situation was we're such a ready-made team to be able to play right away. We didn't have time to give Trey Lance the year to learn and grow, right? And that's just how I feel about the NFL. You've got to have a great quarterback. If you don't, the chances of you winning are slim to none.
Okay, so if you guys are watching on YouTube, the look I'm giving Reggie is the look that your better half gives you when they just think you're fucking crazy. Okay? Now,
I'm actually kind of sold on what he just said there. So
well, first off,
particularly when they got to start paying him $40 million a year. What happens to the rest of the roster? That's going to be the
worst thing that we're going to do.
Well, first off, you used the word force multiplier. I'm going to take that as offense, okay?
First of all, you're throwing too many big words at me, okay? Now, because I don't understand them, I'm going to take them as disrespect.
I would say, though, in the Super Bowl, I mean, he put us on his back to get us there with those comebacks. We didn't lose the Super Bowl because of Brock. I mean, look at these quarterbacks that have won the Super Bowl. Trent Dilfer. I mean, you can go down the line here. He is more than capable. I mean, do we forget that we could only run half the playbook with Jimmy Garoppolo?
Hold on.
Okay.
Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. What year was that?
Okay, with the Baltimore Ravens.
Already referenced that.
You did. Okay.
Right.
But what I'm saying is our offense has gotten infinitely better. Mm-hmm. Because of Brock. I don't think Brock's the issue for us winning the Super Bowl. I think a lot of things can be said about Kyle.
Yes,
the reason that
maybe get an offensive coordinator.
He's gotten in his own way.
I will put some blame on Kyle as well. But what I say with Brock Purdy, it's just when the rubber meets the road, sometimes you got to have a guy that can go above and beyond. We didn't. I don't say he wasn't the reason we lost the Super Bowl, but he also wasn't the reason we won because we didn't.
Reggie, let's make a bet.
When it came down to it. Yeah. Were we able to make the plays to get us a win?
This is almost like when we had the Dodger guy on. Like the comments on these reels are going to be two-sided. There's going to be some hate and there's going to be some love.
It's coming from a Niner fan.
And I'm a Niner. People they call me hater all the time. My friends who are Niner fans like, oh, but you're a hater.
Look, I mean, your argument really is that he's not Patrick Mahomes.
That's it.
But there's only one Patrick Mahomes, and that's why he's won 4 Super Bowls.
Go find him.
Yeah.
Go find him. Take a chance. I don't care. If it's not Patrick Mahomes, then you need to be trying to find Lamar Jackson. You need to be trying to find Josh Allen. You've got to be trying to find a great quarterback that can, when things break down, that dude is great enough to make it happen.
Cue the clip of him getting those first downs against Green Bay and Detroit, Nick, in the playoffs.
Looking around, pressure, steps up, going to run, has a little room. Purdy with a nice move, first down. Purdy's still going, staying on his feet, down to the 5.
That was dope.
That was dope. I think you're wrong, Reggie, and I can't wait to prove you wrong. And
he's also only a second-year guy.
I hope he proves me wrong.
I think he's going to
what
get
he's
better.
done in 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, we grew up watching
I'm worried
Joe
he got
Montana.
married. I think he's going to get worse.
I hope he proves me wrong. I would love the 49ers to win a Super Bowl. Okay, and here's another thing. 4 years started. Okay, what the Niner fans have gotten, we got conditioned to having a marginal quarterback for so long.
Sure.
Jimmy Garoppolo was so average.
Yes. Average, he's basically out of the league now that he doesn't play for Kyle anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. And I remember I was in Denver. I went to the game 2 years ago when we were in Denver, second week of the season.
I remember that.
Denver.
Yeah, you were there.
Went to the game.
Garoppolo's so average he can't even date porn stars anymore.
I know.
That was after Trey Lance had, broke his ankle.
Correct.
Then the next week was we played against Denver, and Jimmy Garoppolo came in and was
terrible.
Awful. Terrible.
Yeah.
And I remember arguing with people while we were in Denver, like, Jimmy Garoppolo's so terrible. You guys, listen to me. Once we get a good quarterback, you're going to see the difference. Brock Purdy is leaps and bounds better than Jimmy Garoppolo. That's why people, I think, get so intoxicated with it, because we watched a guy be so average and watched people make every excuse for him being average. And now we got a guy who's a 4-year starter in college in the Big 12. It's not like he was playing at Eastern Connecticut or wherever
No,
Jimmy
he was at
Garoppolo
Iowa
was
State
from.
playing in the Big 12.
Dude was good and a really good quarterback. He should look like this, right? He should look this good.
But Reggie, that's a great point. But if you look at the stats, if you actually get into the analytics and the numbers, Brock is right there in the top 5.
Okay.
And I think people are too hard on him because of this subconscious thing on where he was drafted.
I don't care where he was drafted.
Okay, but I'm just saying that for you to think that he can't win a Super Bowl.
I got a bigger problem. Do you guys want to do a little stat here?
Yeah,
stat that freak you out?
Give it to
How many teams who lost the Super Bowl came back the next year to win the Super Bowl?
Is that 0? Is that a big donut? I bet you that's a donut hole.
It's not a
won the
donut.
Super Bowl. Who that went to the Super Bowl and lost?
Won
came
it the
back
next,
the next year and won.
So I'm talking about our hope for the coming season.
God, I mean, you look at all those Buffalo Bills teams. The Niners lost the Super Bowls and they haven't won the next year. Washington?
I stumped you guys. I said how many teams? So out of the 60 Super Bowls, however many there have been.
I bet you it's under 5.
It is under 5. It's 3.
Maybe I know Green Bay did it, I think.
Nope. So it happened twice in the first 7 Super Bowls.
Okay.
And it's happened once since, and it was the Patriots.
Okay.
A team that wins Super Bowls consistently. So
Patriots lost to the Eagles and then beat the Rams.
Exactly. Not a team that's lost the last 3 Super Bowls and has had their heart ripped out 3 times in a row. Remember you talked last week about how you can never fall in love with the Niners?
I can't. I said last week on the pod or 2 weeks ago that I can't ever fall in love with the Niners again after this. Like, I'm in love with you. I love you. I do love you. But I don't know if I can be in love with you anymore. You know what I mean? That kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt that, man. It's a little awkward.
You got a little self-help corner there, Reggie.
Should I go to the other room while you guys work this out? My point is I guess I'm going on a slight tangent. I don't think the problem with them not winning the Super Bowl this year is going to be Brock Purdy. I think it's going to be some other stuff, which we can get into the draft.
Well, let's get into it. Let's get into this draft here. The Niners last week, they had their draft. They went a little, as they do, a little sideways. My take is they actually got some playmakers. Like, they didn't dive into the offensive line and the defensive line. They like to play in the trenches. Ricky Pearsall, Renardo Green, Malik Mustafa, Isaac Guerrero, Jacob Cowing. Now, when Ricky Pearsall got drafted, the whole chain, text chain, phones, everything, we were like, who?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, who? Wait, what the fuck? Then I dug into the Twitters. I started watching some film, started watching some tape, and I love Slick Rick.
Going to the air again. That pass is high. Oh, what a one-handed grab by Pearsall. And then he took a pop at the 30-yard line.
Paul, they don't call him Captain Neg for a reason. He was like, fuck this guy. How did you feel about Ricky Pearsall?
I was surprised, shocked, like that was their pick. But again, they've done such a great job with drafting.
Yeah.
I trust that they know what they're doing and who they're picking, right? The thing I took away from it when they took a receiver number 1 is that one of our guys are going.
Right.
I hope it's not Debo, because you're not going to find another Debo.
Sure.
I feel like Ricky Pearsall can do what Brandon Ayuk does. And we just can't afford to pay a wide receiver room that kind of money when we don't throw the ball. You know what I mean? It's like, but at the same time, that having those 2 guys makes Brock Purdy really, really good.
Yeah.
Right? When we saw what happened.
Yeah.
When we didn't have Debo out there, how'd he look?
Right.
Right? And it wasn't not having Brandon Ayuk, because there were stretches where Brandon Ayuk wasn't in there, but Debo was there and he still was fine.
Yeah.
Well, it's to your point that if you aren't going to go get Patrick Mahomes, how do you make Brock Purdy better?
You got to give him every
and
weapon
you make
possible.
him better by giving as many weapons.
Exactly.
And I don't think they're going to trade Ayuk or Debo in the offseason. They can afford to have all of them. People forget Ayuk's still under contract.
Yeah.
And so this does feel like the last dance, because, as you said before, next year Debo can re-up, and then we got to give Purdy. So this is the year they can actually keep everybody.
Yeah, they could.
So
you're just going to have, some some disharmony because Brandon Ayuk is not coming to camp.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to sit out.
So he's going to sit out the whole. And then you mess around, and what happens, right? We already saw last year
with Bosa.
Bosa sat out, and don't get me started on Bosa. Yeah. We should not ever have to pay a guy like he's the best defensive player in all of football, and then we have to make a trade for another defensive end to help him get some sacks. That's crazy. He's really good. He's not T.J. Watt. He's not Myles Garrett. Those two guys are the guys you give that money because they make it happen.
I know why your friends call you the hater, man.
They make it happen.
This is good. This is good. But yes, last year he had an off year.
Every other year he has an off year.
Yeah, the year before that he was the defensive player of the year.
And the year before that he was hurt.
But also it's like when he missed training camp, like we're railing on Blake Snell missing spring training for the Giants, and now he looks like a fucking T-ball pitcher, which makes sense when you say a T-ball pitcher. Yeah. But I like Ricky Pearsall's tape. He looks like he's a smooth route runner, can take a hit, he's smart, does a lot of the stuff that Debo does.
Yeah, more weapons, anything we can do to have more stuff at our disposal. I mean, this offense with those players, literally, the key to everything is McCaffrey, right?
Yeah. When
you have a running back who not only can run between the tackles, but also you can split him out wide receiver, that dude is, to me, he is, besides Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, he's the best player in the NFL.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. He makes everything go. When you have that, then you have a Debo out there, and you can put them both in the backfield sometimes, and who the hell are they going to, what are they going to do?
It's a video game.
It's ridiculous, right? So we have, and, hell, tight end.
Kittle.
Dude, we have everywhere, there's almost a mismatch everywhere on the field, right? So, I like the Pearsall deal, and I know he'd be a nice little slot receiver, and hopefully we can keep them all.
Yeah.
I just know they might have to make a move. And I know that they can cut Debo, which I hope they don't do. They were waiting because if they cut him after, I believe, June, it saves them like $15 to $20 million.
They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. No, this is the year they're keeping everybody.
I hope so.
So wait, the draft. So there's Ricky Pearsall. We got this shutdown corner, Renardo Green, in the second round out of Florida State. Apparently 2 wide receivers that went in the first round from LSU, when they played Renardo Green, combined they had 3 catches for 28 yards.
Neighbors.
Wow.
We got this big guy out of Kansas, Dominic Pooney, and then we got Mustafa.
I call him Puny. Whatever. Pooney or Puny? Puny seems like a weird name for an offensive line.
You saying Pooney?
Yeah. By the way, do you know every single guy they drafted transferred to another school at some point other than Renardo Green? That's how crazy the NFL is now. Or they're college.
Oh yeah.
And all these guys are like 24 years old. They're all playing 5 years in college now.
But like
crazy.
I like this Isaac Growendo.
He started 1 game in college. 1 game.
Played at Louisville.
Started 1 game. He ran last game of the year.
He ran like a 4.4, and he's like built like a
he's
fire
huge.
hydrant.
Yeah, I think your idea that maybe he's the fullback at some point.
Like I think he might be taking Juszczyk's place.
Okay.
What about the kid out of Arizona, Jacob Cowing? So he's 5'8", went to Arizona. You watch the tape on this guy, this kid. This kid's something out of Madden, in the slot, fast as shit.
Really?
They're saying between Pearsall and Cowan, it's like they're drafting guys for this new kickoff rule.
You're watching the Punt Zone channel. It's nothing but punts. Never miss another exciting fair catch or thrilling second of hang time.
I think Shanahan's like, this kickoff thing is going to be very important.
Yeah, I think there'll be certain coaches who like take advantage of it, and you'll see certain coaches who just don't know what they're doing with it as well. And I think Kyle's a great mind, so he'll figure some things out.
Paul had a pet peeve. So, like, apparently, about when we draft all of our players in the 5th round are still in the league through the Shanahan era.
Yeah.
And we traded our 5th round pick this year.
Oh, no.
We had multiple 5th round. We got rid of all of them.
Yeah.
It's incredible. So we have, 3 4ths, and a 6th.
Yeah.
What are you doing, man? Don't mess with success.
Well, that's how you do it, because you like to play. Okay, here's my thoughts.
Yeah.
By the way, for those on the pod, Reggie did play college ball at West Valley.
I was going to say, he knows more than we do. He actually played the game.
He actually listened to like plays in the huddle. I played some high school football, but Reggie, that's nothing. That's just like whatever. But so he knows what he's talking about here. Tariq Owens, undrafted free agent. We got Terrell Owens' son.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Is it Tariq?
I don't know.
Tariq?
Is it Tarique?
Jay Quellen. Where's Jay Quellen at? No Jay Quellen here?
Do you mean Jacqueline?
I mean, hell, it's Terrell, right? Because you would think it would be Terrell.
Sure.
Right. I remember he was always, it's Terrell. So maybe it is Tarique, No.
Yeah, because I know how you would spell Tariq. Anywho, okay. So we got Owens' kid, undrafted free agent in there.
Yeah.
He's about his size. You know, we had to get one legacy player because we missed out on Luke McCaffrey.
Yeah.
And there was another
Frank Gore Jr.
Frank Gore Jr.
We could have got Brendan Rice.
And
Brendan Rice, who we saw. We probably saw him. Yeah. Any thoughts on Owens' kid, just in general?
If he's anything like his dad, I mean, that would be amazing.
Where's he going?
Right to the center of the stadium.
Right to the Dallas Cowboys logo.
Dude was a beast.
Yeah.
If his son has any of that.
Yeah, who knows? He might get cut.
Well, he's not drafted free agents. Rough road.
But, I mean,
they also
now
have
today's
1,000
NFL,
wide receivers.
Yeah. Today's NFL, though, undrafted free agents, people are making these teams. Like, that's what this salary cap has really done. You know what I mean? Like, they raised up the veteran minimum and changed the rookie wage scale a couple of years ago, and that has made teams keep all these rookies. Like, when I was a kid, 7th round picks, 6th round picks, those guys were never making the team.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen. They would be cut, and then they might jump on a practice squad somewhere.
Right.
Now, 6th, 7th rounders, those guys are on the team because of the pay that you have to pay these veterans, the minimums, right? So we're keeping more and more rookies undrafted rookies. So I could see these guys making the team and, you know, definitely be on special teams just because it costs less money.
That's exactly right. Yeah. That's exactly right. Also, there's the Brock Purdy effect now where people are like, in the 7th round, can we find a gem?
Had some good running backs who were undrafted.
Hell, the Brock Purdy effect is not even the 7th round anymore.
Yeah.
J.J. McCarthy got the Brock Purdy effect.
That's true.
This year. They just traded up. Now, you got weapons around him, he might be okay.
Right.
But I thought Brock Purdy in college looked better than J.J. McCarthy. His name just rang out.
Well, he's not going to start. Watch Sam Darnold.
Yeah, Sam Darnold's terrible. And he's terrible.
Oh, Sam Darnold's great. I'm on the opposite sides. This guy's Sam Darnold's fucking throwing seeds. I love Sam Darnold.
Do you guys realize before this that you didn't agree on anything?
Shout out to our mutual friend Ray Stoney. Ray Stoney in the house.
Stoney.
Listen to the pod, Ray.
Stoney, the LeBron hater. Make sure Stoney's a LeBron hater.
So let's wrap up this little sports thing. Niners next season. What's your outlook? I said on the pod last week that I think the Niners, we're getting to the Super Bowl again. This is the year. I think the pressure's on so hard. How do you feel about going to this
I can see it happening. I mean, if we're able to bring the team back. Hell, we're getting Hufnega. He's coming back. We're going to get him back. That's a big person to miss. I think we were missing a corner. One of our starting corners went down, earlier in the year. I think we got everything. I hope that our offensive line is okay, because if we mess around and lose Trent for any period of time, we saw that too. Trent was out, Debo was out. We went on a 3-game losing streak, The left side of our line is amazing. The right side, not so good.
Yeah.
But I still think as long as we have a healthy McCaffrey, we got Debo, if we keep Ayuk, we got Brock, Kittle, that defense, we're going to be okay. Now, what I'm worried about, I want to see what happens now that we don't have somebody on the other side of Bosa to rush the passer. Is he going to be able to?
Free agency.
We got a couple of guys. We got the defensive tackle out of the Texans.
Leonard Floyd.
We got Leonard Floyd from Buffalo to sort of take that place, which is better than, Chase Young was one of those, do I want to play? Do I want to give 100% effort on this one or take this play off type of guy?
I don't know how the guys play with those heavy Predator dreads. It seems like that slow you down, right?
Yeah, but also, it's an aesthetic.
I know, but I want function over form, Matt.
You sound like my mother, who's always like, he's got to cut his hair if he wants to play.
I'm surprised we got this long. Are we going to talk about the Met
But
Gala?
I think we will get back to Super Bowl though. I think
our
we
schedule though. Paul, you've mentioned this before.
Yeah.
Our schedule is fucking rough this year, man.
The hangover effect, man. This year you're in Vegas. The hangover
effect. Are you a Warriors fan?
No.
You're not.
I'm a Laker fan.
Oh, goddamn.
Grew up.
Oh, wow. One of those.
When I was a kid, Run TMC was a big deal.
No, the Warriors were terrible.
They were terrible.
Ever.
When I was a kid, they were not good.
You were in that pocket.
I was Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson was my favorite player.
Absolutely.
Hey, look, you're in San Jose. You're South San Francisco.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. As a Laker fan, I mean, you got it worse than us. I think maybe potentially.
Did you personally fire Darvin Ham or?
Oh yeah.
I didn't think it was really Darvin's fault. Literally, you have to take. We have the oldest player in the league as our best player. what do you expect?
Hey, they're going to get Bronny James, right? Maybe they can splice in some of his younger DNA. It's like Get Out, like the movie Get Out, but like with those two guys.
This is my take, because we have a lot of Laker fans. Shout out Elaine Uwe.
Oh, God, wait, we did talk about the Lakers on this podcast.
Okay, if you guys had a real coach, like, so Darvin Ham's big thing is he never sits down. He's away from his coaches, doesn't know how to call timeouts, and when he gets to the huddle, he's not the one with the clipboard.
Phil Jackson never called timeouts.
I will say this, Reggie. You guys don't have a championship team. However, if you had Eric Spoelstra or Steve Kerr as coach, you guys would have been a 4 or 5 seed. Like, you wouldn't have been in the play.
I can say that.
Yeah,
I could agree with that.
Yeah, I'm going to do a segue here, Paul.
Yeah.
Do you like it when I do segues?
I love a segue. I'm ready to talk some Hollywood. We're going to talk.
Yeah,
about
we're going to talk a
Hollywood?
little Hollywood here. We were talking about Madden video game, the Niners offense.
Mm-hmm.
Reggie's done a lot of voiceover stuff. You know, he's done NBA 2K. He's a voice on Call of Duty. How do you get the Madden audition? Can you get the Madden?
Bro, you know, now all these games have like the career mode, the franchise mode, and there's like, there's like a campaign, right? There's like a video. That's what they hire the actors for, to do the voices and the characters. So I was up for the Madden game last year.
Okay.
Didn't get it, but oh my God, it'd be a dream.
Oh, it'd be a dream.
To do
It'd be a
Madden.
dream. Because we've all played that.
I grew up. Madden was my game, man.
That's it.
Loved
That's it. So, Reggie, you've been acting for years. You got your first job in Hollywood was you were a doorman at the legendary Comedy Store.
Yeah.
Lots of comics got their start on the door. Bobby Lee, Mark Maron, Townsend, Michael Keaton, Keenan Ivory Rains. Was comedy the first track? And what was it like working the door? Like, what was that like?
So I always knew I was kind of like a witty kind of guy, like growing up as a kid. And I always wanted to do comedy, but only as a way to get into acting.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I'd always talk to, some friends who were in the industry, and they're like, oh, best way to get an agent is to do some comedy, and you'll start with a commercial agent, and then you can get a theatrical and all this stuff. So I kept doing shows, and then started getting featured, and then I started getting a headline at some of the places.
Yeah.
What was your shtick, man? Like, what was your
observations? What I mean?
Observation,
Like, my thing was I wanted to be like a mix between Martin Lawrence and Jerry Seinfeld. Those are my two favorite.
Wow,
comedies.
that's
right?
two. That's like Def Comedy Jam and like
so
yeah.
That was my kind of persona.
That's quite an Oreo there, man.
Kind of like brash. It was like a heightened idea of myself,
Yeah.
right? Just like an over exaggerated idea of my
Sure.
real life personality. But it was dope, man. It was great. I got to be there. I got to meet some cool people doing those shows. I remember I started doing shows with Dane Cook. When I started getting to be with Dane Cook. That guy was such an inspiration.
Yeah.
Like, I literally would come here because they used to have a show. I don't know how long have you been in LA?
I've been 20 plus.
Like a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, man, you're not supposed to say that.
Do you remember?
You just got here, man.
Do you remember Dublin's?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember Dublin's.
Yes.
Yeah.
My office is right next to Dublin's.
Okay.
Yeah, right
And
across
so
from
they
Big
would
Taco,
do Dane Cook.
between the Body Shop and the Den on Sunset.
Yeah.
Calm down, Paul.
Sorry.
Calm down.
We were talking Vegas, and I started thinking about
Dane Cook would do Tuesday nights. He'd like headline that every Tuesday, and it'd be standing room free show. We would come down, me and my buddies from San Diego, we would come down and we do the Laugh Factory's open mic on Tuesday. And then after you do the show, you would go across the street and you go to Dublin's and watch Dane Cook. And I would go over there every time we came, and I would watch that guy. And I'd come home and I'd write like a page of comedy after seeing him, because he was so amazing.
Dane Cook was as polarizing as Brock Purdy conversation too that we're having now. Dane Cook was the Brock Purdy of comedy.
He
kind of was.
He was.
So then, what was your first sort of like acting big break? Like, what was that one job where you're like, shit, I think, remember that show? I remember for me.
who have you worked with? You're like, how the hell does this person have a career? We want to get controversial. Right?
I remember my job, one of my jobs that I got where I'm like, I'm doing it. I was on CSI Miami.
Okay. I did CSI.
And I worked with David Caruso.
We gotta move quick. Tide is rising, and we have a sinking crime scene.
Remember when Caruso had that reputation as being difficult?
Yeah.
And I remember I got to set, and I was a paramedic trying to save someone's life. And Caruso, we're on the rooftop. It was a shootout, and Caruso comes in, like hanging on to a Humvee with the sunglasses off. The shootout's happening. Comes down, takes his sunglasses off.
Always takes sunglasses off.
And then he says, "Hold on, cut. I don't like how we got this setup going. I think it would be better if we move the cameras around and we come in here, and I think that would be cooler." And you could see the crew like, fuck. And I think that's why it was difficult, but he had a passion for it.
Yeah.
So when he came up to me, he would be like, hey man, what do you want to do? And I'm like, can I grab you here? I'm like this. I'm like, oh, this kind of reminds me of the scene from Heat. I'm a co-star. And he's like, fuck, I love Heat. And he treated me like an equal. And I was like, oh, the perception of Caruso is much different once you work with him. Yeah, it was a bit of a cheeseball scene. But I remember doing that. I'm like, oh, I'm kicking it with Caruso here.
Yeah.
I'm doing this, you know? What's your favorite? Like you did, I think you did about 7 episodes of Bosch. You've been on a few, like do you have a favorite sort of thing that you did?
My favorite job was on a show called Good Girls Revolt.
Okay.
And that was directed by...
I saw your reel. You had a very big,
oh, man,
you had a big afro.
Great,
great.
It was a great scene, great show. I really wish it had gotten another season. Matthew Weiner directed me in it.
Okay.
And
I remember
was
the show.
Such a fan of that guy. Mad Men, Breaking Bad.
Right.
Like, it's so dope to be there. And like the collaboration that he had with me, he was like, you studied this character, you studied the period. Let's see what you bring to it.
Right.
I don't want to say anything.
Right.
Just do it.
Right.
And he let me and Hunter, we just did our thing.
Yeah.
It was like the set was quiet. After I was done, there was people crying, like just talking about the experience that the Black Panthers went through. And that was dope for me because growing up, in the Bay Area, you'd always heard of the Black Panthers, but they always had kind of like a negative connotation about them, right? Like it was an air of negativity about the Black Panthers. But when I studied and found out, like, they actually did a lot of great shit for people. I mean, there was human things that happened, like people got hooked on drugs, and but their intentions were to really uplift their Black community, and it was dope to be able to portray that and give like a real, voice to it.
I gotta ask you because I mean, doing the Key and Peele sketch, you did 2 because I know you did. What was off the chain wax? Was it the pussy off? Pussy off the chain.
Put the pussy on the chain wax.
Pussy on the chain wax.
Yeah. Man, I put the pussy on the chain wax.
Were they trying to make that thing viral? Because it never took off.
It didn't go as far, but they were like, let's see if we can make something go like crazy. It was like, let's just try it.
Let's just try it.
Yeah, they're like, let's just try it and see if we can make this a thing.
What does that mean?
We have no idea.
We have no idea. Like it's off
the
hook.
It's off the hook.
So it's just putting a bunch of words together that they thought people would think were funny.
Pussy on the chain wax, not an expression.
Yeah, it is. Yes, thank you.
Remember I used to say for a long time, you'd be like, Dublin's, that bar's off the hook?
Yeah.
Remember when you used to say that all the time?
Yeah.
It would be like, Dublin's is off the chain wax.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think there's still a chance. I think this is a podcast.
It could come back.
Bring it back.
It could come back.
What was the other sketch you were on?
I think it was Mom Rap. And I believe Jordan was in college. We were like roommates with him.
And his grandma, the mom had the tape.
found him. Yeah, you can see it. And she found like his crispy socks because he was like
jacking off.
Yeah.
Oh, yo, MC Mom, put the pussy on the chain wax.
But it was dope, man. They were so cool. Loved working with those cats. Like, it was really collaborative. Like, they would let you improv and play, and you had an idea, you bring it to them. It was just, comedy sets are just the funnest to be on.
But those guys are cool. I directed both those guys on Trip Tank, on that animated show I was working on for a couple of seasons, and they came in and did voices. And this is before he took off, Jordan, as a director. But it was the height of their show, and they came in and did voices.
Yeah.
And they kicked it. They talked to us. They were collaborative. Jordan was like, very interested in our careers.
Yeah. Jordan, such a cool dude. Not that Key's not a cool dude.
Sure.
But Jordan started directing,
Yeah.
Directing and creating all the shit.
Yeah.
That guy would call me in for every movie.
Right.
I mean, I literally had a chemistry read for Get Out.
Okay.
Right? Well, the guy who ended up, comedian Lil Rel, right?
Yeah.
And it's another thing as an actor, like, I remember being in there reading. And, I went in like 3 times to read for this character. And finally, like, the chemistry read did my thing. And then when I saw who actually got it and I saw the movie, I was like, of course.
Of course, right.
Like, that's this character. This is the guy. It's right here.
Yeah.
But love that guy, man. I've been in, he brings me in anytime he has something.
No, he really is a sweetheart. And I remember even Key was like, I remember I was, you know how it is when you're in the booth and I'm that guy.
Yeah.
Like, can we, and he's like, it's cool.
Yeah.
Just line read me. He's like, I'm really, it's okay.
Yeah.
Just tell me how you want it and I'll do it. I'm totally no ego. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yes, I want to give you what I want you to have. Yeah.
I'm the same way. I when I act and I work on anything, if I trust you, I know that you know what you're doing.
Sure.
Give me a line reading. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, it's not dude, especially if it's your words or your idea.
Right.
Tell me how you want it done.
Right.
And we'll do it.
When I directed Paul in a film we did, he was like that.
With Ray Stoney.
With Ray Stoney, he would give me this look like, I don't know if I trust you.
Oh, that's the
Marry, Fuck, Kill.
Okay, but because you work with Stoney
and Companion,
and then I did the voiceover.
You did Stephen A. Smith. You
right?
replaced Stephen A. Smith's voice on that.
David A. Smith.
Anything you want to promote? You got anything you want to shout out? I mean, you got anything? I know you got like a million things in the loop.
Nothing really to shout out right now. Some stuff coming down the pike that people will see that I can't talk about right now. But
I like
that's a good one.
So just watch. Find me at Coach with Reg on Instagram, and that's the only social media I really use. I don't use X anymore, really. Yeah. It's a sad thing. I used to love X. I used to love Twitter. When it became X, I started hating it. But I used to love Twitter just because you get real-time news. It was quick and easy, and now there's just garbage. There's nothing.
It's getting weird.
Yeah.
Let's end on a Niner thing. Like, what's your favorite Niner memory that wasn't them winning a Super Bowl as a kid? Who was your favorite player?
My favorite Niner of all time is Steve Young.
Oh.
I think I love Joe Montana.
Yeah.
I think Steve Young.
Not a
better.
receiver though. You were a wide receiver, right?
I was a wide receiver.
Yeah.
But I was a quarterback in high school.
Okay.
Pop Warner through high school. I was a quarterback. When I was in college, I was a wide receiver.
Right.
But Steve Young's my favorite.
This helps explain your Brock
49er.
Purdy issue because Steve Young is a little bit like Patrick Mahomes,
Yes.
right? He could run.
That's always what I thought
change,
quarterbacks. I felt like Steve Young's, especially like the year we won the Super Bowl, and I think his '98 season was when he was probably the best he ever was. Mm-hmm. That dude could run, could throw. He was smart. He was just my favorite. People always love Joe Montana. I like Joe Montana.
Yeah.
I think if I need to win one game for my life, of course, I think Patrick Mahomes is the greatest. After Patrick Mahomes, I might take Steve Young.
All right.
His best season ever, I want Steve Young.
Clip it, Nick.
Young in trouble. He's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs to the 20, the 15, the 10. He dives. Touchdown, 49ers.
Who's your favorite Niner of all time?
That's a great question.
I got two that just popped in my head.
You do. You go ahead.
Fred Dean.
I thought my best autograph we talked about was OJ. When he was with the Niners.
So remember Fred Dean? That was a mid-season trade, '82 Super Bowl.
Fred
84.
Dean was great. I love
He would
Fred
smoke
Dean.
in the locker room, and everyone was afraid of him.
Yeah, I do like guys that smoke.
And I loved that one year in 12
like Keith Hernandez.
when we had Randy Moss for one season wearing 81 in the red and white
I
and
don't
gold.
even
That
remember
was
that.
fun.
And Randy Moss, without even really being able to run, as he shoots the moon to the fans here in Green Bay.
That is a disgusting act by Randy Moss.
He actually had an okay season. He had like 6 touchdowns that year.
I forgot Randy
And
Moss.
I'm always upset I never got the Moss jersey that year. All right, we're going to get together a one game this year.
Yeah.
Sure. Yes.
Let's go. I think I'm going to the Bears game at Levi.
At Levi. Okay, gotcha.
I want to see Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams.
They had a
okay.
good, they seemed like everyone liked their draft.
I want to see that.
Yeah, I don't know how I missed his drinking fest thing that happened with the Eagles game. I don't know what the hell I was. But,
Yeah, you might have been traveling the world. We're going to get to that in the second episode of the pod.
You told
Reggie?
me you were going to be doing shots watching the Niners.
Yeah.
Eagles.
Reggie.
I might have canceled my trip.
Thanks for coming in, man.
Thank you for having me, man. It was great.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it. You guys are pros. This is fantastic.
All right, we're back, folks. Reggie Watkins interview. He said a lot of polarizing things. He was a great guest talking about his Brock Purdy takes. I'm going to stand on business, as the kids say, and I think he was, I just can't wait to prove him wrong. I can't wait for Brock to prove him wrong. But hey, that's why I love Reggie, because Reggie comes in here and he throws it on the table and then he leaves, and it's beautiful.
In his defense, I'm surprised that more of the Brock haters didn't come out after the Super Bowl, because I understand it wasn't his fault exactly. Like they didn't really they couldn't block for him at the end. But I don't know, make a play.
I don't know. I don't know why I'm looking at our editor Nick, but I think that's fucking ridiculous. Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm very impressionable.
Yeah. This week's episode and every episode we've done so far has been brought to you by PetProSupplyCo.com.
Oh, yeah.
Go to Pet Pro Supply Co. for all of your pet needs. We're talking about doggy beds, dog cages, cat toys, cat trees, things for possums. If you like to like keep possums in your backyard on a deck in a cage and you need to cage those possums, you can put the possums in a cage that you get from petpro.com. So everyone, if you have for all your supply needs, pet supply needs, go to Pet Pro Supply Co. Use code BEATLA and get 10% off. Paul, pet peeves, do you have any this week? Or shall I say any pet pleasures, things that you like?
I went off earlier on Bob Melvin. I think that was my main pet peeve. My pet pleasure is that we finally have merch.
I like these. I'm not happy with how they turned out. We're going to give these away. But if you're a vendor out there and want to get into the Beat LA merch business, hit us up, DM us, and we will shout you out and let us know. T-shirts, you make T-shirts, you make stickers, you make cups. Hit up Beat LA.
Oh, I know what my pet peeve is. I'm mad at myself. Can I have a pet peeve against myself?
Yeah, absolutely. Self-help corner.
Self-help corner. So I have decided, so you know what's in this? This is not coffee, if anyone's looking. This is like this weird, I'm like doing a cleanse, Matt. I've decided to do this like detoxify 3-day cleanse.
How's it going?
And there's a lot. Apparently it's supposed to clarify and like clean out things, but what mostly it's just making me feel
so it's only 3 days.
Like I'm an idiot for not eating food.
3 days, 72 hours, right? And what's in the cocktail?
It's unclear. The person I get it from, it's apparently like mostly dandelion root. Anyway, I'm starting to get a little aggro because I'm getting hungry.
Well, that's because you're going into ketosis, right? That's where your body and your stuff starts eating you from the inside. Isn't that right, Nick? If
this pod is not up to snuff, I blame it on the fact that this is the first one I've done uncaffeinated.
I think you're doing really well, but
Thanks,
that stick of celery is going to look like a Chateaubriand in a bit, right?
Oh my God. Yeah, you can eat celery, you can eat cucumbers, carrots, and quinoa.
You know what? All of a sudden doesn't sound like a cleanse to me, all right?
You're not really supposed to eat that much of any of that stuff, but I'm going to have a fucking celery stick after this. It's going to be beautiful.
I saw a thing recently where if you go on a 7-day water fast, it kills all of the cancer cells and you have a 70% less chance of getting cancer in your life. All you need to do is a 7-day water cleanse. Because it'll kill all those dead.
I thought if you did that, if you did that with gin, it also would do the same thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to hit the best things we saw this week. A lot of TV, film, movies happening. Paul, I got a whole list of stuff.
There's that cleanse juice, man.
Do you want to go best things first?
Sure. I'll do a best thing.
Yeah, tell me.
So one of the best things I saw, Matt, I watched the Kentucky Derby in Bentonville, Arkansas. It was fucking fun.
Yeah, by nose.
Yeah, I went to a place called Barley and Vine, and it was this kind of divey place, and there was this guy named Steve, they couldn't make mint juleps, but Steve had a Steve special.
Yeah.
And so I ordered, I'm like, sure, I'll get a Steve special. And then the bartender said, with or without spit. And I was like, oh, here we go. And it was Woodford Reserve, cranberry juice, and lemonade. And then it was a photo finish, the closest finish I think they've had in like 50 years.
Forever Young, Sierra Leone is coming. These three coming down to the wire. Who's it going to be? Oh, it's a photo of the Derby.
And the horse, we were in like this little pool where you get like two like numbers. We won.
Wow, that was what, a $200? $15-1, I think that guy.
18-1.
18-1.
I know a guy in my tennis club who's kind of an asshole. His name is Dan. He was at the Derby. He bet $5 on a horse that has the same name. He's a very rich guy. He won $90. What a fucking idiot, right? If there was something called like Parlay Paul or something, I would have put so much fucking money on Parlay Paul, even if he was like 50-1, because I'm that egocentric.
Yeah.
This guy Dan only went
fucking
$90.
Dan, $90.
Anyway, I love the Derby. It's a rite of spring, that along with the Masters.
Absolutely.
And it did not disappoint this year.
Gotcha. I'm going to just hit a list real quick of stuff, all right? And this is just for all our listeners out there that are trying to figure out what to watch. Because, you know, when you try to find something, it's very hard. You're just flipping through stuff, Paul.
Just turn to the Beat LA podcast.
You just turn to the Beat LA podcast, and I'll tell you what to do. Baby Reindeer on Netflix.
I've heard great things.
Okay, the first 2 episodes, I bowed out. I heard everyone say it was great. I jumped back in. It's actually very interesting. It's only 7 episodes. Okay. Give it a twirl. The first 2 are uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable watch. But thumbs up on Baby Reindeer. Sugar on Apple TV. I'm out. I was out after 2 episodes with Colin Farrell. There's a twist. Stay off if you don't want it to get spoiled. There's a twist. It's only, I think, 7 episodes. The twist is fucking cuckoo town.
Wait, you're out, but so you're not recommending it?
I'm not recommending it,
Okay.
but I found out the headlines. You talk about jumping the shark.
Yeah.
There is a jump the shark twist to Sugar, apparently.
Okay.
That blows people out of the fucking. They don't even know how to make it. If you like those things.
So are you going to go back and
No.
watch it to see it?
No, it felt like a CBS show.
Hold on, I'm having a cleanse burp.
Get it out.
Ooh, Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, that felt good.
Yeah. It was a pretty boozy weekend in Arkansas.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have waited.
Yeah. Ooh.
Anyway, keep going.
I think it's coming over here. Do I taste ketchup? Is that ketchup? Cue the clip, Nick.
I'll be honest with you, I did fart. Is that onion and ketchup? It stinks.
The Jinx season 2.
Oh yeah, I saw the billboard for that.
It's fucking great. It's
Wow.
great. Robert Durst.
What is there still to talk about, Matt?
They kept rolling the cameras after season 1. So it's about his apprehension in the court case. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Jarecki's just in his bag on that.
Okay.
The Jinx is great. Hacks is back. Great show on HBO. Love Hacks. I saw Challengers this past week.
I have no interest in it. I know you're going to tell me to go see it. It's tennis. I like all things tennis. Tennis movies are a very, very bad genre. There are no good tennis movies.
This is, okay, can I tell you why you're going to be wrong on this one?
Players with Dean Paul Martin and Ally McGraw.
Okay, so Challengers isn't a movie about tennis. It's about this love triangle that happens to revolve around these tennis players.
Okay.
The director, Luca.
I know he did it. Call Me by
By
your
name.
name.
It's fucking great. Zendaya's a movie star. It's fucking fabulous.
Okay.
In the movies, it's fucking fabulous, but knowing that you're a tennis snob, you might not like it, but I'm trying to say it's not about tennis.
A good movie about tennis, Match Point. Would you ever see Match Point with Woody Allen?
It's great.
But the tennis is so bad,
No.
nobody can play tennis.
No, they nailed the tennis scenes in this. They really
Okay.
did. I saw The Idea of You with Anne Hathaway, the romantic comedy.
Wow,
on
look at you.
Amazon.
I know you have a soft side.
Anne Hathaway, I think she's kind of
You
in
have gotten a little bit
she's
more
in a
sensitive
She's in a bit of a
recently, man.
renaissance.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed, if you're a rom-com guy like me who can admit it, The Idea of You was quite good. And then finally, I saw The Fall Guy last night. Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt's chemistry is so fucking good. They're so funny together. I just wish the movie was about them. They jumped the shark. It's 40 minutes too long. The plot is ridiculous. I have no idea what was fucking happening. But Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling are great. If you want to just escape for 2 hours, you're not wasting your money.
I've got one more thing. I also wonder, like, we have a lot of NorCal people listen to this. I hope they know what Jump the Shark is. If they don't, we might cut to the clip.
Of Henry Winkler jumping the shark?
One last thing I'll add. I mentioned it earlier. I watched the Tom Brady roast.
Yes.
I was very surprised I watched it.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic.
It was incredible.
And Jeff Ross, who, did all the Comedy Central roasts, came and he said, basically, we haven't done one of these in forever because the world wouldn't allow for it. Everyone takes it too fucking seriously. I'm so happy that roasts are back. I hope there are more. I like Tom Brady more after it. It made me realize that the world maybe is going back, could go back on its axis, man.
No,
I don't
man.
know.
No, I'm with you. The Tom Brady roast was great. I think the MVP of that roast was Nikki Glasser. She
was great.
Fucking slayed her set.
Also, Affleck, I think, is drinking again or doing a bunch of coke because his 6-minute rant on like trolls, and did you see that part? It was crazy.
Missed that.
Instead of being at the Met Gala with J-Lo, who was the host of the Met Gala, he decided to show up and ruin his career yet again at the Tom Brady roast.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember Comedy Central used to do those roasts all the time. I think the best one they ever did was the James Franco roast. That was fucking great. If you want to watch a roast, go check out that one. Paul, any shout outs?
Yeah, I mentioned his name earlier. My good buddy Ryan Osmankowski threw this fantastic event in Bentonville. That was great. Our friend Diego Torres Palma came out as well. Thank you, Diego, for the
DTP.
studio again this week.
Thank you, sir.
My mother, who went to Bentonville for the weekend,
Yeah.
my 80-something mother, and absolutely loves her art. And we had a nice little birthday, post-birthday. I had 3 birthday parties this year, Matt. That's how into myself I am.
Yeah.
So I'll leave it at that. Those are my shout-outs for the week.
Gotcha. I want to shout out my brother, Russ Medina. He had a tough week the last couple of weeks, and I want to shout out, for posterity's sake, his son, Philip Medina. All right, folks, that is the Beat LA podcast for this week. We will be back soon. Paul, it's good to see your face.
Good to see your face.
I can't wait till you eat a ham sandwich later. It's going to be a beautiful thing.
There's a decent chance at least one of us is going to the Giants-Dodgers next week, so we'll have some
yes, sir.
report from the front lines of the shit.
Hey, man, until next time, we got to believe it, we got to live it. Once again, Paul, say it for me.
Beat LA.
Beat LA.